Welcome to the world of exploration. Welcome to the world of education. Let's start exploring. Let's start learning. This is Sukriti Ma'am, your very own educator, teacher, philosopher, guide, mentor, friend, one and all. Right? And this is the one stop destination wherein you're gonna learn everything. Right? So today we are gonna cover job application. Right? So today we are gonna have a look at job application. Now, theoretically we are going to study, right? But practically how we are going to implement that also we have to study, right? Now, when we talk about the introduction thing, right? Job application, it's a formal document. Everybody knows, because you have to apply, right? Right now you are in standard 12, right? So you would be doing your right? Graduation, then you would be doing your post-grad, that is post-graduation. You some of you can even, explore you can even go in for doctorate programs. But ultimately, the main goal is to obtain a job. For that, you have to have a, a, a hold over job application. You need to know what you should and how you should present, yourself. Okay. So now, when I am talking about a job application, it's a kind of a formal document or a process through which individuals like us, right? Like us or like you people, you would be expressing your interests and qualifications for a specific job or position, right? For a specific job or position, that means uh, if you have interest, like for instance, if most of the times in your exams, they ask you for teaching positions, right? So they ask you for either TGT, for the post of TGT, or for the post of PGT. TGT is trained graduate teacher, PGT is postgraduate teacher, right? And if we talk about, doctor or chartered accountant, CA, anything, you have to have qualifications, the tabular form that we make, you have to incorporate the correct information, the right information, right? So it depends actually on what basically you are wanting, or you prefer, in which field you prefer to go in. So within a company or organization, it could even be an MNC, right? Or it could be, for engineering, very, whichever job, whichever profession you would choose, you would select, you have to have a grab a hold over job application, because you have to always apply, right, for a specific job or a company, in a company, right? So it serves as your initial introduction to a potential employer. So it's a kind of in how would the employer get to know you better, right? An employer would in fact get to know you through your job application, through your, because in your job application you showcase your abilities, you showcase your potential, you showcase your the brighter side of you, right? What are your accomplishments, how qualified are you, and what makes you different from the rest of the uh, people, right? So the purpose and critical step in the hiring process, and it's a critical, step in the hiring process. The purpose of job application is to provide the employer with the essential information about your skills, as I've mentioned before. As for like information, it provides information about your skills, about your qualifications, right? Work history. So if you are a fresher, then you don't need to provide any work history, apart from if you have done any sort of internship, right? Or any other, programs, you were involved in any other program, then you should, definitely mention it. But if you haven't, if you're a fresher, like you would all be freshers, right? When you would be applying for a job, you would be doing your graduation and then applying, or post graduation and then applying. So you would be referred to as a fresher. So therein work history you cannot give, but if you have worked for 2 years, then also you can write in your job application that you have worked for 2 years, right? Or 1 year or 3 years, right? It depends, or 15 years, right? And availability for the role, or suitability for the role, right? Here is an introduction to the key components of a job application. Remember that a well prepared job application can significantly improve, just a second, can significantly improve your, just a second. Always remember TGT stands for trained graduate teacher and PGT stands for postgraduate teacher. That means she's capable of teaching 11th and 12th, and THTs are till 6th to 8th, right? And you always get, most of the times, you get for teaching, right? So remember that a well-prepared job application can significantly improve your chances of securing an interview and ultimately landing the job you desire, that you wish for, right? Tailor your application to the specific job and company and you're applying to. So you have to, you have to first and foremost do the research for the kind of job that you are in applying for, right? So you have to tailor according to the needs of that specific job or company that you would wish to apply in for, right? Emphasizing how your qualifications align with their, requirements and values. So you need to over here emphasize how your qualifications, how qualified you are, and how your qualifications, they basically act as a segment, as a kind of an, they how do they align with the requirements, how do they suit the requirements and values of that particular profession, of that particular job, right? Now, for students, all right. Now, tips for students. Writing a job application is a common task in Class 12 CBSE exams, especially for English or business studies. So this is very important, especially in English, because I am an English teacher. I'm a PGT English. So, but even in your business studies, if you're from commerce background, I'm not from commerce background, but still I know that in commerce background you have ads, you have to have ads, and you have to have hold over job application as well, right? Because it is commerce. So there, in also in business studies, you have to know uh, the requirements, and you have to know the suitability, how you have to write a job application. To help you prepare, here are some tips for writing a job application as per the CBSE exam pattern. This is according to CBSE exam pattern. Please remember that. Keep that in your head, keep that in your mind, right? Understand the format. Start by understanding the format and structure of a job application. So when you are starting, you need to understand the format. If you will not understand the format, then how would you proceed ahead? How would you proceed, right? How would you go on? You can't go on, right? So without knowing the destination, without knowing the journey, you cannot understand, right? For that, you need to know the basics, right? If you have to start any journey, you need to know the spot from wherein you would be beginning, right? You can't just focus on that I would just reach from A to Z just like that. No, right? So start by understanding the format and structure of job application. Very important. In CBSE exams, job applications typically follow a specific format with sections for personal information, educational qualifications, work experience, and a closing statement. Now, this might sound a bit difficult, but if you catch hold of it, if you this is essentially very important, and if you focus, and if you this is the crux, right? So if you get this, you have got everything. So in CBSE exams, job applications typically they follow a specific format with sections for personal information, educational qualification, work experience, and a closing statement. And when we talk about educational qualification, work experience, personal information, all of this have, they have to be presented in your job application. Read the job advertisement. You have to carefully read the job advertisement. Now, whenever in CBSE, during, CBSE, I have been an AHE as well. So that is assistant head examiner coordinator, and have done the coordination. So I know, and I did the evaluation as well. So I know, I'm familiar with the format, how CBSE works, right? So how CBSE works is basically what CBSE does is that, in the question, herein read the job advertisement. You are not supposed to just randomly think about any other job advertisement. Whatever question has been asked, you need to carefully read that particular question, and then what is being asked in that question, the job advertisement that has been given, or the description that has been provided in the exam, you have to write according to that. You don't you If it is asking for teaching profession, you can't write about CA profession. Your qualifications won't match, and your uh, experience wouldn't match, because CA profession is different. If you want to be a doctor, not doctor. If you want to be um, a software engineer, for that you require different set of skills, different set of it's a different separator, right? So note down the key requirements and qualifications the employer is looking for. Your application should directly address all these points. Use formal language. You need to use formal language. Why? Because it's a formal, it's for formal purpose, formal occasion, right? So you have to make sure that make use of formal language. Your job application should be written in a formal and professional tone, and therefore, it shouldn't be incorporating your slangs and whatnot, your usage of short words, slangs, or any other informal tone. No, no, it's a big no. Otherwise, you wouldn't be selected. You will not be selected. You wouldn't get into any job if you write in an informal way. It's a purely formal tone that has purely formal tone has to be adopted, right? Now, address properly. Begin the application by addressing it to the appropriate person or organization if mentioned in the exam question. If not, use a generic salutation such as to who it may concern, right? So if it is not given in the exam, then you have to make sure that you are using a generic salutation, that is, as not as, but to whom it may concern, right? Now, fifth point is provide accurate contact information. Include your full name. You have to include your full name, right? So you can't write Sukriti, for instance. You can't just write Sukriti. You have to mention your surname as well. You can't write Preeta, right? You have to mention Preeta Mehta, for instance. You can't uh, write Ashok. You have to mention Ashok Kumar, right? You can't mention Karthik. You have to mention Karthik Aryan. You have to mention Akshay Kumar, right? So you have to make sure that you are including your surname as well. Address, you have to mention address, contact number. You have to make sure that this is biodata. So you have to make sure that you write your full name, you write your address, you write your contact number. Your contact number should be approachable, and email address at the beginning of the job application. Please, please, please do not forget. This is a kind of an introduction only. You know, what comes first is your introduction. So you have to make sure that you do not forget this. And briefly, you have to mention where you learned about the job opening. So you have to, that makes, now you guys can get confused. By this, what uh, we mean is that briefly you have to mention whether you had seen the advertisement, job advertisement, right? We are talking about the job advertisement. Where did you see? So you might have either seen it in the newspaper. Then you have to, it could be TOI, that is Times of India, or Hindustan Times, or Dainik Bhaskar, or Dainik Jagran, right? Such newspapers, or it could be online, um, through e-newspaper, right? So you have to make sure that you mention that. So you can also include a sentence about suitability for the position, right? Then you have to mention educational qualifications. In the next section, provide details of your educational qualifications. Start with your latest or current qualification and work backward. Now, most of the students, they are not aware about this thing, and I would definitely like to enlighten you guys and um, make you understand that you have to start with your latest or current qualification. For instance, if you have done your MA, right? For instance, you have done your master's in English. For instance, if I take my example, I've done my master's in English, right? So my highest qualification is master's. I did B.Ed after masters. That doesn't mean that I'll write B.Ed at the top. Why? Because masters is uh, because B.Ed is basically bachelor's in education, right? So that is included in uh that is basically masters is masters, so masters would be placed at the top. Then second, I have done B.Ed. Then third, I have done BA in English honors only. I have done BA in English only, that is English honors. Um, and then I would go on to class 12th, and then I would go on to class 10th. I will not mention class 11th. I will directly from class 12th go on to jump on to class 10th. Clear? This is for PGT English. If you are applying for the post of PGT English, mostly in the exams, they do ask about teaching, right? Now, where was I? Yeah. So in the next section, provide details. You have to provide details of your educational qualification. You have to start with their latest or current qualification. And you have to go backward. You have to work backward. Now you have to mention the name of the institution, degree obtained, year of passing, and any other notable achievements or awards. Now make sure that you are mentioning the name of the institution from where you did. For instance, I did my graduation from Gargi College. So you have to mention the name of the institution, Gargi College, Delhi University, right? You have to mention your degree. You did bachelor bachelor. You did. I did BA honors English, right? Then you have to write degree. Degree again. So degree is mentioned, BA honors English, then year of passing, blah blah blah, right? Right now it's 2024, so let's just make it 2 3 years. I won't reveal. So yeah, you can do it 2017, you can do 2019, right? 2014 you can do it, right? And any other, you have to make sure you have to do calculations as well, because there shouldn't be much gap, because masters is for 2 years, graduation is for 3 years, and now nowadays it has changed. Some children, they do take a break in between, and then they either go in for 2 year course, and then they take a break, or they complete the entire thing. It's up to basically what you wish, what you desire, and any other notable achievements. And you need to make sure that you are writing down your achievements and your awards. You are mentioning whatever achievement has been made by you, and awards that have been won by you. You mention that. And work experience, if you have any relevant work experience, include it in a separate section. List your previous jobs. Now you need to mention the name of the jobs, the name of the companies, or the name of the institutions, or the name of the organizations with which you were associated, right? The names of the companies or organizations, or your job titles, and the duration of employment. Describe your roles. You need to describe your roles as and responsibilities. For instance, I am a PGT English, right? So, my role and my responsibility is PGT postgraduate uh, in English, right? That is, I'm PGT English, as well as I have been an AHE coordinator, assistant head coordinator in CBSE, for CBSE. I have been an evaluator for CBSE, right? Board. So I have accomplished all these roles and responsibilities. And then you need to emphasize skills and experiences that relate to the job you're applying for. And then what do you need to do is that you need to emphasize skills. You need to emphasize the skills. You can either say you are good at communication skills, you're good at, you can include anything under the sun, right? Experiences that relate to the job that you're applying for. So if it is related to communication, obviously you would write down, and for any other job, good interpersonal skills, good communication skills, good uh, anything, right? Then highlight key skills. Now mention any key skills or qualifications that are relevant to the job. This could include technical skills, certifications, language proficiency, or any other skills mentioned in the job advertisement. So sometimes, and most of the times, in job applications, already in the question it is mentioned that you are good at Spanish, or you're good at French, or you're good at Japanese, right? For instance, for me, Japanese is the case. So I would definitely include under language proficiency English, Hindi, Japanese, French, because I have studied all these languages, right? Now, um, so you need to mention any key skill that you possess, any qualification that is, relevant to the job, not any random qualification. For instance, if I have done, um, for instance, if ABC person has done um some certificate course in IT, and he is applying, or she is applying for no, if for instance, if any individual ABC person has done a course in nutrition, right? And that person is giving interview, or is writing a job application, or is applying for the post of IT, post in some IT field, right? Or engineering field. Then, your qualification doesn't match, right? So your qualification should match, right? It should be relevant to the job. And it should include technical skills, computer, and HR and PR, all these skills, certifications, language proficiency, or any other skills that are mentioned in the advertisement. It is mentioned, mostly it is mentioned in the advertisement. What do they actually want from you? Why should they hire you, right? That's the thing. That's the uh, major part. Then express enthusiasm. You need to express enthusiasm. This is very important. It's essential. It's quintessential, right? In the closing paragraph, express your enthusiasm for the job and your desire to contribute to the organization. So when you are ending, when you are closing, you should be able to express your energy. You should be able to channelize your energy, your enthusiasm, that why do you need this job, why do you want this job, not need, why do you want this job, right? And your desire to continue to the to contribute to the organization, and why do you want to, why do you have this, why have you nurtured this desire to contribute to this specific organization? Let's name it ABC, right? Or let's name it English curriculum. Now, you can also mention your availability for an interview or further discussions. So you can, in your job application, mention about your availability, and for that particular interview, for any for interview that they can call you anytime, and you would be, and you would be more than you would be elated um, uh, whenever they call you for the interview and or for further discussions. Use proper grammar and spelling. Now you need to make sure, mostly majority of the students, they also end up landing doing these silly mistakes. Now you have to make sure that your grammar and spellings are correct. Obviously, this is a language paper, man. Dude, this is a language paper. So when we talk about literature, it is very rich. Whether it be Sanskrit, whether it be Hindi, or whether it be English, whether it be Japanese or French, any language you may just pick up, you should be thorough with your spellings and grammar. You should proofread your job application for grammatical errors. So always, not only for spellings or grammar, but otherwise also keep on adding, because your um qualification, not qualification, yeah, also sometimes your ways, you gain experience, you add up so many skills, so add on, keep on adding on the skills. So do not give that monotonous job application. You should always proofread your job application for grammatical errors and spelling mistakes. Errors can create a negative impression, right? Always remember that errors or mistakes, they can create a very negative impression. Check word count. In CBSE exams, there is usually a word limit for job application. Yes, you heard it right. There is a word limit for job application, right? Ensure that your application stays within the specified word count. You need to ensure, who needs to ensure? You need to ensure that your application is within the specified word count, right? Now, format neatly. Format your job application neatly with proper indentation. Herein, we are gonna focus on proper indentation and spacing between paragraphs, right? So proper spacing between the paragraphs, this has to be taken into account. You need to highlight this, right? So this point needs to be highlighted. Use a legible font and maintain consistency in formatting. You need to make sure that you use a legible font. Now, review and revise, RR. This is what I call RR, right? Review and revise. Before submitting your job application, review it carefully. Check for clarity, coherence, completeness, right? Even in your ASL these are the parameters on which we assess you, right? ASL, that is assessment of speaking and listening skills, right? Your practicals would also be taking place, right? So be prepared for ASL as well. It depends from one school to another how ASL is being conducted. How does it take place? It depends on your educator. It depends on your teacher or grader, right? So practice job writing applications in a timed environment to get a sense of how to manage your time effectively during exam. This is very, very important. It's crucial. It's imperative, right? So this is very important. So you need to basically, just a second, herein you need to basically time, right? So your time management is very important. So when you are doing job application, especially for job application, this is especially for job application, that time management is crucial, right? So you need to practice writing job application in a timed environment to get a sense of how to manage your time effectively during the exam. Clear? I hope it makes sense, right? Now, remember that the key to successful job application is to tailor it to the specific job and organization, showcasing your qualification and enthusiasm. Following these tips and practicing writing job applications will help you excel in class 12 CBSE exams. Now, you can see the marks distribution, right? For format, it is 1 mark. For organization of ideas, again, it is 1 mark. For content, it again, not again. For content, it is 2 marks. Always remember that in majority of your when we talk about writing skills, right? In under your writing skills, your content would always be majorly of 2 marks, right? For format, majorly you would be having 1 mark. For content, 2 marks. For accuracy of spelling and grammar, 1 mark. For organization of ideas, how do you organize your ideas? So we studied about here. We studied about review. Where was it? Okay, we studied about clarity, coherence. We studied about clarity, coherence, and completeness, right? So herein we are talking about that only. So format is for 1, organization of ideas is for 1, content is for 2, and accuracy of spelling and grammar is for 1 mark, right? So in totality, it makes up to 5 marks. So this is for 5 marks. So you can, so it's for 5 marks. So now you can imagine from, just a second. Yeah, it's for 5 marks, right? So 5 marks mean a lot. They're a lot, right? So you have to fetch 5 marks, and you can fetch 5 marks if you keep track of your time, right? So if you are keeping track of your time, if you are managing your time well, then you will be able to fetch. And if you are practicing this well, a job application, then there's nothing like it. You will be able to, fetch 5 marks for free, right? If you have practiced it well, but you need to practice it. That is definitely the case. For now, this is it. This is Sukriti. your very own educator, philosopher, guide, mentor, friend, one and all, and English Curricle is the one stop destination wherein we meet. For now, this is it. Bye bye. See you in my next session.